I'll tell you exactly how it went down, and you can decide if I was wrong or if I simply refused to be erased. My name's Naomi Briggs, fourth generation farmer on a patch of black soil just outside Ash Hollow in Redwater County. I came home from 2 tours as a scout sniper with a torn shoulder, a head full of desert wind, and a prayer to sleep without hearing rotors. The farm quieted me. Fences, irrigation supper with my Mama Loretta, slow, honest work that puts your soul back in your ribs. Dusk was settling orange on the corn when I heard them 3 trucks eating the dirt road like it owed them money. No plates I recognized, dark hoodies, ball bats. The one up front swung his bat into my mama's rose trellis and laughed like he just solved poverty. Private property, I said calm from the porch. Turn around. Property, the one with the bat grinned. Not for long, sweetheart. County's changing hands. I got Mama inside, opened the safe by the coat rack and felt the weight. I swore I'd retired my long gun. Nothing fancy, but honest steel. Naomi, Mama said from the kitchen doorway, one hand to her chest. I kissed her forehead. I'm just going to talk real clear, I told her. First shot, front tire on the lead truck, and that whole nose dipped like it forgot how physics worked. Second shot pinged a fence post an inch off Bat Boy's ear, so the post hummed like a tuning fork. Everybody got real respectful of the concept of distance. You can't shoot us all, somebody shouted. Want to test that? I said, letting the sun sit behind me so they had to squint. 2 tried to flank bad footwork elbows, high rifles held like broomsticks. One genius rushed the porch with a length of pipe. I slid left, let his swing pass, and bounced his face off the rail. He slept like a choir boy. Then the mouthpiece arrived late in loud mask slipping jawline I knew from town parades. Chase Mullins, nephew to Sheriff Dane Mullins. Briggs, he spat like my name had pebbles in it. You think a soldier's costume scares anybody? I'm not in a costume, I said. I'm home. He promised they'd be back properly equipped. I promised I'd be awake. By morning, the yard looked like a crime scene topped by a tornado. Coop blackened fence posts snapped off like bad teeth. Ruts cut through my irrigation lines. Mama set her jaw, put on her Sunday dress, and said, "We're going to the hearing. The county building smells like paper and coffee that died twice." Dane Mullins shined his badge under the fluorescent lights, while Chase limped around on a borrowed cane bandage taped on crooked like a theater prop. Chairman Wallace, whose family name is on half the street signs, banged his gavel. "We're here regarding Ms. Briggs' escalating behavior." Dane went first. Our volunteers were conducting a wellness check near Ms. Briggs's property when she opened fire. "Volunteers with crowbars," I said. Ms. Briggs Wallace warned, "You'll have your turn." Chase took the stand, put on his soft voice. Bullets everywhere. I feared for my life. I stood up in my pressed dress blues and said, "I have video," and Wallace cut me off, eyes sliding to the sheriff like they shared a secret. By the time they were done, my water rights were temporarily suspended for public safety. That's like taking a fisherman's boat for making waves. I could have gone home and cried. Instead, I called 3 people. Miguel Torres, electrician, good neighbor, better friend. Darla Hines, the county clerk, with the kind of memory paper wishes it had. And Zara Chen, the local podcaster who shows up where truth is allergic to sunlight. We met at my kitchen table, coffee rings on the wood security footage on my laptop. "They're not dumb," Zara said, scrolling. "They're coordinated." Darla set down a shoebox of deeds like it was a newborn. I've been tracking transfers, shell companies passing black-owned farms like hot potatoes. Same notary stamp from a notary who retired 3 years ago. Miguel whistled low. "And look at this logo." He zoomed a frame, a little tree stitched on a sleeve. Same tree on the banners behind developer Victor Langford when he smiled on TV and said Heritage Futures Initiative like he was baptizing a baby. So we worked. Motion sensors tucked inside birdhouses. Cameras disguised in fence caps. Deer stands that weren't about deer. Pastor Ruth collar on sleeves rolled showed up with half the church and called it holy work. Mama fed everyone from the stove and told the kids about the year the well never ran dry because we prayed and we planned. Storm rolled in mean and green one night. Lightning did flash photography on every fear I had left. Then the smell hit gas. The barn went up like an old hymn shouted too loud. Mom and I got the calf out, but the smoke clawed her lungs. In the ambulance, she gripped my wrist. Top shelf of the closet, she said, coughing. Blue shoebox. Inside were letters from my unit. Your daughter saved our whole squad. Best spotter I've ever had. We call her Ghost. Mama had kept every one. I spread them out on the hospital blanket like armor. You don't save folks all those miles away to come home and let cowards take your ground. Word got out. Folks brought casseroles and post-hole diggers. We wove a web around the farm, a legal one with affidavits and timestamps, and a practical one with sight lines and range markers disguised as garden gnomes. We didn't posture, we prepared. Zara met a jumpy IT contractor at Lou's Diner, a guy named Marcus with a suit that didn't trust him. He slid her a thumb drive under the Formica like we were in a movie. 3 years of emails, Mullins and Langford coordinating Phase 1, enforcement before harvest. Restrict water to encourage cooperation, make an example of holdouts. We triple copied, triple sealed, and drove a set to the federal field office out in Riverbend. The night everything cracked open, Pastor Ruth organized a candlelight vigil on my fence line. Families, elders, farm kids in church shirts, phones up, live streaming. I lay belly down in a hidden perch up in Oak Night Vision, painting the world in green math. I radioed Movement East Road. The singing dipped. 2 bulldozers rolled out like yellow dinosaurs' engines, growling over the hymn. This is a peaceful assembly, Pastor Ruth announced into the mic, voice steady. The dozers didn't blink. I settled the crosshairs on radiator fins and let out a breath I'd been holding since the county hearing. One shot, steam hissed, engine coughed, machine died. Second shot, hydraulic line on the twin fluids sprayed like champagne on the wrong kind of victory. A drone rose into the air. I let it a hair and tapped. It pirouetted down smoking. The crowd gasped like a single set of lungs. Sheriff Dane boomed through a megaphone, Naomi Briggs, you are interfering with a lawful inspection. I politely turned his cruiser's spotlight into glass dust. Deputies hesitated. Phones were everywhere. History was being written in the comments. Then the new engines came low and federal. Black SUVs, jackets that say, business. Sheriff Dane Mullins, a suit called Badge Up. You're under arrest for conspiracy and civil rights violations. Chase tried to run, didn't get far. Victor Langford rolled in late, sleek, and smug, already practicing his statement. I'm a philanthropist, he said as they cuffed him. So's every thief with a charity, the agent replied. I didn't get off the scope until I saw taillights head out and the last agent give me a nod, like soldiers give each other when words would make it smaller. The vigil turned into a choir. Let justice roll down like waters, Pastor Ruth said, and it finally did. Weeks slid by like good rain. The new barn went up in 3 days, steel beams, fireproof lining, carved initials from every kid who hauled aboard. Indictments landed like summer hail. Restitution funds opened for families who'd been paper robbed of their farms. We started weekend workshops, how to verify a deed, how to file an injunction, how to hide a camera in a birdhouse, and when not to. I taught folks about angles and patience, that a clear field of fire is just a straight row if the law's on your side and the cameras are rolling. Mama sits on the porch most evenings now, shelling peas, looking like a lighthouse in a cardigan. Sometimes I dance her out under the pecan tree lights. The tree survived the fire, scarred but stubborn. Neighbors' kids run the learning garden pulling carrots like prizes. We hung a little bronze plaque by the gate we stayed. If you want the clean story, that's it. The raid, the hearing, the vigil, the cuffs. But clean isn't the same as simple. We still get patrol cars idling a little too long. We still get form letters from offices that never met us, telling us what's best for the community. And I still keep the rifle oiled, not because I want to use it, but because I remember what happens when people think you won't. So tell me, was I wrong to take those shots at engines and spotlights to turn a porch into a line in the sand? Or was I doing what my great-grandmother did with a deed and a hard stare saying this land remembers who it belongs to? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me what you've seen. Land deals that smelled funny, progress that bulldozed history, sheriffs who wore two faces. Hit subscribe if you believe roots beat fire, and if you think I went too far, say that too. I'll be here listening and staying.